I want to tell you something. I used to be awful with managing my finances. I would get to mid month and literally be broke. And it would go from one extreme of me having money to then zero. And there was no in between. And I wouldn't even know how. I couldn't explain where my money was going. It literally was just happening. And the anxiety I felt all the time, not knowing how am I going to get to the next payday, it always felt commission. It always felt like I was scraping through, scraping by while still living my life. If I bought something, I felt the guilt, I felt shame, and we don't speak about this enough. We do not speak with each other enough. We all know at some point in our lives we have gone through financial hardship, but it seems to be the one conversation that we're not having with our friends, with our family, with our partners, even at school. And it's something that I feel should be the foundation of most conversations because it is the reason why a lot of us live in stress. But thankfully to say, I found a way to get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. And if this resonates with you, then I have something for you that will help your journey in managing your finances better. So let's get started. I'm Simone and this is Simone Solutions, and I help mid-income earners on a variable income. That means you rely on tips, service charge, overtime, bonuses, commission, and you may not necessarily get paid on the same date every month. I find that budgeting advice is easier to stick to when you are on that 9 to 5 fixed income, same pay slip, same time salary. But when it comes to the variable income, it's so easy that when you have a low month, everything you've been told literally stops working. And I created a system that I found worked for myself as someone that was working in the hospitality industry where your hours aren't guaranteed, where your pay isn't the same every month. That worked for me regardless if I had a low month or I had a high month. So let me go a little bit more into that because again, it's conversations we need to start having. And I want you to start having it. And I know it's embarrassing, you feel shameful to even admit that you're not the best with money. And we need to get rid of it. We need to normalize that conversation. We need to normalize that we can say, hey, I'm struggling. I need help. I need to be better. Because when you become aware of your issue, and it makes it that much easier to improve it. I remember when I was a waitress and you knew, especially when January came round, you're gonna be fighting for your life, fighting for those hours. And we all know that December, we get an early pay. It's before Christmas, you feel nice. You didn't have to wait too long after November's payday. And then we have that long road to January payday. And it is the most painful experience to go through because it's not just your typical 4 week wait, not even your 5 weeks, sometimes waiting up to 6 weeks before we get paid again. And it wasn't until I managed to get through that period and still have money in my account that I knew I found a system that works. And yes, it took years of trial and error. I tried every quick fix. And yes, it took time to get there because I was going down that rabbit hole of finding quick fixes and the money hacks and the saving challenge, not realizing that my mentality on my finances and my awareness of where I was the fundamental thing that I needed to get clarity on before anything I tried would ever work or stick. And one of the bad habits that I had is I didn't count my hours. I didn't know what I should expect to get paid by the end of the month. And it's absurd. I don't know to this day if I was missing money. I don't know because I didn't have that financial literacy that I needed to kind of paint a clear picture of where I was in that very moment. I was in denial. I was saying yes. I was saying things like next month I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to save, I'm going to All the goals and targets that would make my life better, I was making. I knew I had to do, but I didn't know how. And this one thing I started doing to make my financial situation better, so my endless payday to payday loop. Again, you don't feel alone, and that we all probably have done this, is even before I got paid, I was already spending my money. I was already looking through clothes and things to buy and where I'm going to go with my friends before the money even landed in my account. And that was probably the worst thing I could have done. The worst thing, because as soon as it hit, it was gone. And where it should have gone, it didn't go. And if any of this sounds like you, then you are in the right place. I had to do this one thing before I could even start saving, investing, or imagining any sort of financial freedom, or imagining any kind of situation where my finances felt like peace. And right now, I'm in a place where I feel comfortable, where those days of financial anxiety, not knowing how I'm going to make it to the end of the month, and right now, I am so much more comfortable with my finances. And gone are the days where I had that anxiety and stress and shame and guilt, and I let it all go. And what changed wasn't my income, it was my mindset and understanding of my personal situation. Everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own life experience when it comes to their finances, beliefs from where you grew up in a home. So, one generic piece of financial advice is hard to fit in everybody's life as is. And the system I use needs to be adjusted because it has to fit you and where you are in your journey right now. Whether you're starting from zero, whether you're making a little bit of improvement, whether you've made improvement and you've dropped back into bad habits, it doesn't matter because everything I speak about is about your life, your situation. And that will be different as you go through the seasons in your life. That will be different from person to person, and that's okay. I'm unique to everybody, just as you are. And the things I did stopped me being reactive with my money and allowed me to start directing my money and taking control back. Like I said, it took time, it took trial and error. And because I found a way, I don't want you to go through all that time going through trial and error and experiment different things where I have something that can work for you right now. So, the moment you've been waiting for, the first thing we need to do is see the number. A lot of us don't know where we are today. And there are three key numbers I need you to be aware of right now as a variable income earner. Your first number is your survival number. Now, I talk about this a lot because I feel it's the first thing you need to know to even start taking those first steps comfortably in managing your finances better. And your survival number is the amount it costs you to live in 1 month. This is just the bare minimum to keep your life running. So things like your rent, your bills, your utilities, travel, food, minimum debt payments. Nothing else, no lifestyle, no frills, nothing fancy. This number alone, I feel, should be the top of your agenda to find out. And if you can, do it right now. The second number is your lowest possible income. Now, this is stripping out all the service charge, any bonus, any commission, any overtime, and literally what is your contractual hours, your base hourly rate or salary, times that together, and that is your lowest possible income. This number is very important. If you're aware of the lowest possible amount that will land in your account on those months when you open your payslip and see it, it won't be a surprise. You're not going to have that dread. And again, it's going to take time. We're not expecting you to go from all these emotions that money is bringing you to them feeling okay, little by little, the more we face our finances, the better we are at preparing ourselves for the worst case scenarios and taking the correct steps to fix it. And the last number you need to know is what you would have left. So simply, this is your lowest income or whatever your income is on that month minus your survival number, because we know that whatever your survival number is, that amount is coming out of your account whether you like it or not. And what you have left will really give you that clear picture of what your first steps really need to be. Because sometimes we waste time looking at advice that doesn't even speak to where we are, that we just see someone in a place where we want to be and we think we need to do what they do to get there. When in certain situations, we need to take different steps or a different path to get there because our situation didn't start in the same way that theirs did. So, with the what's left number, if you take your lowest income and you minus your survival number and you have money left, then we can start looking at taking steps to move our situation forward slowly. If that number is negative, then we need to stop and we need to break everything down in our survival number and see where we can adjust. Is there anything there that we can reduce? Are we living within our means? Are all our non negotiables actually non negotiables? Because we need to be in a place where we have a little bit of a buffer left after we've spent our money for our necessary living costs. Now, every situation is different and it's easier said than done in adjusting your survival number because some of us are in circumstances that we can't avoid. And if this is the case, at least this clear picture will show you that that survival number is where we need to start in order to get anywhere. And that what left number will show us where our focus needs to lie. Because sometimes we're looking out the window when we should be looking in the room we are in and seeing what we can move around to alleviate some space for us to breathe. What we want is to get to a point where we can open our banking app without our heart racing, our chest tightening, and preparing and bracing ourselves for whatever low number we're expecting to see. I want you to be in a position where you can open your banking app confidently, regardless of what it says, whether it be in negative or positive, and feel some sense of peace because you know what to expect, because you're in control. You might not be where you want to be right now, but that feeling of I know what to expect when I look into my account. It might not be a pretty picture, but I'm aware. There's nothing catching me off guard because I'm in control of my finances. I know where my money's going. So then at least I know what my next steps needs to be. This is not a race. This is a marathon. And for this to become a way of living, it has to be done with intention. It needs to be done with patience. You're not going to get rich tomorrow. We're looking at pennies better rather than thousands of pounds better at a time. And again, I'm not saying this out of I've magically come across a random formula. I've literally done this for myself. And again, I'm not giving you a percentage of this or a percentage of that. I'm literally saying, what are your numbers? What are your numbers? Do you know how much it costs you to survive 1 month? Do you know what the lowest possible number your payslip could say? Do you know if you were to take out your survival amount out, what you would have left? And that's the base. That's where I want you to be after this video. This is what I need you to practice. This is what I need you to get familiar with because in my upcoming videos, we are going to go on a journey together in managing our finances and getting better with our money and actually achieving the goals that we set and not looking for quick wins. I want you to live in peace of mind when it comes to your money. I don't want you to be panicking. I don't want you to feel anxiety. I don't want you to feel shame. I don't want you to feel guilt. I don't want you to feel alone. And all these emotions are feelings that I've experienced. And I know some of you have as well. And I want you to know that you're not alone, because there'll be several people that watch this video that will be like, yep, that's me. Yep, I felt that. And I want to build a community of people that can speak with each other, because I think when we come together and share our struggles, it makes it that little bit lighter for us. It makes us know that I have someone I can speak to that can relate to me. And I'm not just listening to someone in a penthouse or driving a sports car telling me to budget better when I've tried and it's failing. I say that to say, if you're still watching, thank you. I wish I had someone that sat me down and spoke to me about all of this, that could educate me in a way that it resonated. So for you, I'm here doing exactly that. I am sitting you down and I'm speaking to you about your finances. And to help you on your journey, I put a free financial stability PDF in the description below that will take you through this step by step. I want you to get familiar with this and I want you to get confident with this. And again, I don't want you to expect that after this video it's just going to click like this. It's going to take time, it's going to take practice, it's going to take a few months of up and down. You're going to be good one month, you're going to be rubbish the next. It's okay. As long as you get back up and you keep going. I believe in adjusting forward, not restarting, because adjusting forward, you are starting from a point with more knowledge than you did when you started at the beginning. So that's not restarting, that's adjusting forward. So keep that thought. And if this gave you some sort of value, subscribe, because what we're going to do next is we're going to save £1,000 together, whether it's your first £1,000, second, third, whether you're starting from zero, whether you're starting from minus, we are saving our first £1,000 together. And I'm doing this with you. Each payday, a video will come out where we will manage our actual finances. I'm not going to give you generic numbers. I'm not going to give you percentages. We're going to work with the numbers that you have. And this does mean that we'll need to be interactive. So I can start putting examples up that relates to your numbers. And the only way I can do that is if we all comment on our situation. Now, I don't want exact numbers. I will just need general round numbers, but I'll be walking you through every step of the way till we get to the thousands. That video will be out in the next couple of weeks, but don't worry, I'll be releasing other videos in the meantime so you can start practicing your survival number, start learning your lowest income, start getting aware of where you are now so you're ready to start the journey with me. And the algorithm says that this video is useful for you to keep that momentum going. And remember, stability first, real life always. And until the next one, I'll see you soon.